All right, my name's Ron. I'm the 5-Minute Gardener. I want to do a little demonstration on transplanting a pot full of Serrano chilies that I bought at a local nursery the other day. There were 5 seedlings in this pot, and I don't want to plant them all out at once. So what I'm going to do is separate all these, put them in their own little pots. I talked about this in another video, that I always save all these pots and recycle, repurpose them until they're not usable anymore. Get the most mileage out of them that way. And we'll put all these up individually, let them get well rooted into these pots before they actually find their way out into the garden. So it's pretty simple. Got the tag, gonna keep that. And then I've got other tags that I've made. I get these white plastic tags by the box. I think there's 500 in a box, and I think this last box I got at Amazon. So they're nursery supply, horticultural supply. You can find these, they're inexpensive. I use a number 2 pencil, and when I label, I always start at the top and work my way down, because I've seen people, I used to tell my students that, and they'd start here and run out of room. So it's pretty hard to run out of room when you start at the end. It's a lot easier. And also it's a lot easier to read the tags when they're in the ground like this, or in a pot. And always date everything, or it'll come back and bite you in the backside. And I was talking in another video about the importance of journaling. So we'll log this in our journal. We'll talk about in our journal what fertilizer we used, the potting soil mix that we used, if it's appropriate. A lot of times we're just using the same old potting soil here. And results are important. Through the season, we'll keep results in our journal. So on each journal entry, we leave room to go back and put more results or more information in on how well the plant did, how well the variety did, what kind of yield we got. And if it's not working, we're not going to use that same variety again next year. And we can remember what variety not to use by keeping records in the journal. So what I'm going to do here, these were moistened. I think I watered them yesterday, so they're a little damp. But and this is a really loose potting soil, so I'm just going to break it apart. Okay. Just very gently break it apart. They're rooting towards the bottom of the pot here. So I'm going to shake them up a little bit here. And I'm going to try and, as gently as possible, separate these. Sometimes you can almost put them in a bucket of water and work them apart like that. And then what I'll try and do is gently nudge these apart. This could all go south in a heartbeat, but hopefully it won't. So I'm just slowly shaking the dirt out. This probably should have been done weeks ago while they were still a lot smaller, but I only got these a few days ago. And I probably could have done it right away, it would have helped. But then I'm going to slowly try and nudge them apart without tearing the roots off of the crown, the base of the plant stem. And that way we can hopefully we'll salvage these. And then what I'm also going to do, didn't bring a pair of pruners out here with me, is cut the tips of these back. That'll help reduce shock and transpiration. Now you see this one's starting to come apart pretty easily here. All right, so there's one, a lot of roots on it. And I'm also going to do a little root pruning here. So there's another one. Slowly starting to come apart. I'm going to take the ones that come apart easiest first, and they'll all eventually separate out. Okay. There we go. Just takes a little practice, a little patience. Knowing that you're going to do some root damage. And out of 5 of these, you know, even if one survived, I got my money's worth, because more often than not, you're only going to get one in a pot anyway. And I've got hopes that more than one of these is going to survive. So I know in something else I do on a regular basis, they say hope is not a strategy. So now I've got these big long roots. All right, so what I'm going to do is just the distance here. And this is purely arbitrary, I'm just going to pinch and pull, and so I have less root mass to deal with. And then I'm also going to just pinch the tip right out of here, my fingernails, and that'll help reduce transpiration, water loss. Okay. Same thing here, these big long set of roots. Just gonna pinch and take the tip out. We got something that's been up in the lettuce box here chewing, so we got a slug problem, and I got to fill, and that's what it is. So there's a prepared seedling. Okay, same thing. Same thing. I think my neighbor's working on furniture over there. Yeah, everybody's looking for projects to do in these interesting times. There we go. So now what I'm going to do, because I didn't do this already, is this is in our lettuce box. So I'm going to add just a little bit of granular fertilizer to this area. And I'm going to just work it in really well with this old claw cultivator I have. And I'm going to use this soil. Now ideally, this soil's pretty moist. And there is an old adage about this, and it's one of those old gardener's sayings: sow dry and set wet. So in other words, you sow seeds to dry soil and then water them in. And you set seedlings to damp soil and then you water them in. If you set seedlings to dry soil, the dry soil is pretty hydrophobic and it's going to repel the water. So it's a lot better off to get a good start with damp soil. So I'm just going to scoop and fill and pack it in tight. I keep telling people that all the time: pack it in tight. And I'm going to stick 2 fingers in here, about as deep as they'll go into this pot. And I'm going to take one of these seedlings and drop it in just a little deeper. And it's I don't know if you can see that here, just a little bit deeper. Okay. And then I'm going to squeeze the soil in around it, push it in with my fingers nice and tight. Okay. And then shake it. And if I need to add a little more soil, fine. The young transplants like this, they'll root up that stem a little bit more. So I'm going to set this one aside. We'll do another one. Once you get going, it's really pretty quick. And again, pack it tight, 2 fingers in. Take a seedling, drop it in, and pack them in tight. Okay. So for the price of one seriously expensive little pot, and I think it was, I don't remember here, probably about $5 at this nursery for, I'm gonna get 5 plants out of this. And I think the odds are pretty good that I will get all 5 plants out of this. But you know, it's really easy to do. I got this one right up to the cotyledons, the seed leaves. Those are the cotyledons, the long narrow ones. I did say this is Serrano chilies. Now what I'm gonna do later is come back and top this lettuce bed back off with some more potting soil. And we'll go ahead and plant. We've got a bunch of green seedlings. There's some spinach here that my wife started back on the 17th. That's why it's a good idea. 17th of April this month. So these are, what, about 2 weeks old now? And they're doing pretty well. So we'll transplant out the seedlings. We won't break these apart. We always have weeds around here. They're little grassy seeds. So keep the competition down. Keep the weeds pulled. Anyway, so that's it. So now I'm going to water these in, and probably in the next couple days I'll use a dilute water-soluble fertilizer. And I'll keep these in the shade for the next several days to make sure they're not stressed by sun. And hopefully in a couple months' time we'll have really nice, healthy, productive Serrano chilies. So thanks for looking. And don't forget to, somewhere down towards the bottom of the video here, hit the like button, if you would please, and also hit the subscribe button. So I'm Ron, the 5-Minute Gardener, and we will talk to you soon. Go play in the dirt.